What's going on, my dudes? DrMemeologist here, and look at this. It's another video where I talk about what's going on. I seem to do these videos like every year or so, but I think it's important because you guys on YouTube don't really get to see me as much, because the only time you ever do see me is when I upload a video, which is already pretty few and far between. But comparatively on things like TikTok and Twitch, you know, I'm on there pretty consistently, so people know what's up. So I just kind of want to make this video for this channel just so you guys kind of know what's going on with me, what's going on with, you know, the uploading, all that good stuff. So yeah, let's dive into that. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about what I'm going to be doing with this channel and all other things that I do content creation wise in the year of 2026. So yeah. Starting off with you guys on YouTube, I have actively been working on making videos. In fact, I'm working on a rematch video right now, which has been absolutely hilarious. But by the time I finally get it out, that game is just going to be dead in the water. It's already pretty dead, to be fair, but it's like by the time I release it, it might be like gone, honestly. Yeah, I have still been working on videos, but it's just been very hard with, you know, working a job, doing Twitch, doing TikTok, which I'll get into the other two later. But yeah, it's just been very hard to actually sit down and have time to edit. But the thing is like, I love making these style of videos because I love playing games with the boys, and as a result, we have so many darn like funny moments that I want to share those because I think those would make for great content, and the formatting and everything. Like I love the style of video that I get to do. It just unfortunately really does take a long period of time, and I'm not like trying to like perfect myself every single time and make each video better than the last. I'm very much like okay with being plateaued on this style for a while, because let's face it, I don't get videos out fast enough as it is. So I'm not trying to like improve anything crazy, but little small things here and there I'll adjust and try to learn. But yeah, I am just plateaued as like an editor in terms of the style for these videos, mostly due to the fact that I want to get these out as quickly as possible. But like I said though, editing has been very difficult to do. Like trying to actually sit down to edit stuff can be a bit difficult with my current schedule in life, just because of how busy I am on all over the place and everything like that. But one of the big announcements that I wanted to make is that I'm actually going to start multi-streaming onto YouTube as well as Twitch and TikTok. Because I'm not active on this channel that much, I want to make sure that you guys on YouTube are still, you know, seeing me, I guess, and knowing that I'm still alive. And I do like interacting with you guys, and it sucks that the only time I get to do it is when a video is uploaded. So like basically once every 2, 3, 4 months, you know? Originally, I was very against streaming onto YouTube as well, because the way they did VODs in the past is it would just filter in with your YouTube videos, and I didn't like how that looked. But they've since changed it so that there's now a separate like live tab, which I'm sure you guys have all seen. There's now a separate live tab where all the previous lives will go and stay separate from the videos itself. So having seen that, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm all right with streaming on here. So I'm very excited to start streaming on YouTube as well. And I'm excited to interact with you guys again, because I feel like I said it before, I don't get to do that nearly as much. So the streams themselves are going to be twice a week, Monday and Friday at about 5 p.m. EST, give or take. Yeah, and I am looking forward to streaming on YouTube. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again.
Yo, somebody get the door.
Now, I mentioned earlier just how busy I've been. And while some of that is due to work, there is another reason that my time is being taken up right now, and that, as you probably saw, is TikTok. TikTok, I kid you not, has become like a daily grind for me at this point. So for a while, like I had the TikTok, but I never really like used it all that much. Like occasionally I'd post a video, you know, and for like probably a solid year or so-ish, I had like maybe 1,500 followers, right? And so back in June of this year, I think it was June, give or take, back in June of this year, I decided to start posting daily, because I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. Let's just try to really put our all into TikTok and see what happens. From there, I actually grew like a decent bit. I'm not sure what the exact numbers are because it's kind of hard to tell. Like with YouTube, you could see when an upload happens and, you know, all that good stuff, but I can't really tell. So I'm just going to assume it was back in June. But I did grow quite a good bit. From there, I got into a little something called DrMemeologist, which, if you know, it is a horse racing game, super fun, super addicting. It's a mobile game, and I've absolutely been loving it. But since I started playing that, my content has shifted from regular like gaming, sports, and all that stuff. I still do that, but now I've added DrMemeologist content into it as well, and that has blown up my TikTok. Like I said before, when I decided to start posting daily onto TikTok, I was at about 1,500 followers, right? Which is not a lot, right? Since I started daily uploading and posting Uma Musume content, I'm now at 10K. Almost at 10K, rather. I might be there soon, but you get the point. While I love YouTube, this is probably one of the first times I feel like I've actually built a community through something, because not only are people really enjoying the Uma Musume content consistently, I'm also getting a lot of people who are tuning into Twitch streams now because of the content on TikTok, coming into the Discord server because of the TikToks. Like, TikTok has actually been such a huge catalyst to grow a community for me, and that's kind of one of the main things I really wanted to do with content creation, is just get to interact with more people and make stuff that I like. It's become my main place to just make rant style content or just like short dumb little memes, but I really do enjoy it. It's been a consistent daily outlet for me, and it's something that, you know, has just been it has been so much fun, and it's so cool to have this finally, you know, really do something for me. Like I said before, TikTok has been a huge source of growth for me, and I am extremely thankful for it. You guys have no idea, right? It's going to continue being my main focus going forward, but it's not going to take away from me editing videos. Like, I want to stress that point for you guys on YouTube. I am always going to be working on YouTube videos because I absolutely love doing it. Hell, I've even considered, going back to YouTube for a sec, I've really even considered shifting up to doing like indie style, like in-depth reviews, kind of like what Pyrocynical does, but not nearly as long or drawn out. But there's been a lot of indie games I've been really getting into, and I've always thought about making something like that, but that would honestly be something I would have to save for if I ever get the privilege of doing content creation full time. But that aside, YouTube videos are not going to become backseat to TikTok. They're going to be kind of like coinciding with each other, whereas TikTok I have to do pretty much on the daily. YouTube videos, I'm always going to make sure I carve out time to edit and work on them. Also, I feel like I need to put this in, but speaking of working on videos, the second channel, DrMemeologist TV, is pretty much dead right now. I do have plans for it in the future if I ever got into like full-time content creation. It would basically just be like highlighted moments from streams and all that stuff. Basically like what so many other people do when they put TV in their username and make a second channel. But it would just be highlights from streams and all that stuff. But yeah, I just really don't have time for that channel, unfortunately. Between the thumbnail making, the editing, even though it's minimal editing, it does take a little bit of time. But between all that, I don't have time to do it. And even if I did, I would probably just have somebody else do it, just because I really want to focus on the main channel stuff, you know? So yeah, that's the second channel. Would I say subscribe to it? No. But now here's the moment where I just kind of want to transition all the way from content creation and just talk about what's going on in my life, because 2025 has been such a crazy year, and 2026 is going to be even more crazy. To start off, my job has been great. I love what I get to do every day for work. It's been very enjoyable overall. But like I've said before, it takes up time, you know, all that good stuff. But like, you know, it's been enjoyable, and I'm thankful to have it, you know, because it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if I had to do this for the rest of my life, I'd be okay with that. And by this, I mean, you know, work my current job in video production. But if I had to do that for the rest of my life, you know, I'd be okay with it, you know. But I still want to strive towards doing YouTube. But ultimately, there's a point where you have to be realistic and just kind of realize that the chances of someone like me ever getting to do this full time is just so slim to non-existent. And I'm okay with that. I've not given up on it, but I've kind of reality checked that dream a little bit, and now it really is just a hobby. And ever since I've treated it as just that, it has become so much more freeing and opening for me, because it feels like there's a lot less pressure. That aside though, this past year I actually got engaged. So your boy's a married man now. Well, not technically married, but I'm an engaged man. Just thinking about it for a second, like, I started this channel back in 2017 when I was like midway through high school, you know, and it really is funny to kind of look at this channel as sort of like a time capsule. Like, a lot of YouTubers have this. I think a great example of this is like PewDiePie or whatever, where you see his life progress through his YouTube channel. And I feel that in the same way for myself. I know a lot of people will probably never hear my username ever in my life, which is fine. But I think for me, this channel does hold a really sweet spot in my heart, because it has kind of shown like the growth and change of my life, and it's almost like encapsulated it into the channel itself. And I I mean, going into 2026, man, I really am just like, it's just crazy to think I've almost been doing content creation as a whole for 10 years now. And as weird as it is to say, it's almost weirder to put that into perspective of how much time I've put into doing all this. And only now does it feel like something's actually building. You know, that's the really weird thing. Not to get too ranty, but it's like, that's the really weird thing about this is it's like, I feel like I've been doing this for so long that I've almost never really thought of the prospect of like this ever working out, you know? I'm very excited for both life itself and for the future of this channel across YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch and all that stuff. Not to get too ranty, I'll slide off of this, but for all you people on YouTube, expect to see me more streaming on here more. Again, I do want to get YouTube videos out more often, but I think with streaming, it's going to take a little bit of that pressure off to do that, just so you guys can see that I'm still active, I'm still working on something. And that's the big thing, is I just wanted you guys to at least, you know that I'm still here. I'm still working on stuff. It just takes me a really long time to do so. But I always feel like it's worth it when it comes out because, man, ever since I kind of like shifted up my style of videos, you know, where before it was just like the funny moments, now it's like cut up into certain sections and all that stuff. I basically stole what Russian Badger did. But I feel like ever since I've started doing that, the videos have been a lot more entertaining to make. And good God, like I said, man, I'm just so grateful to have my group of friends who are all going to be my groomsmen at the wedding, because these guys have just been, you know, just so much fun to play video games with and just so much fun to be around, man. And I couldn't ask for a better life, honestly. I couldn't, you know. But all that rantiness and bullshit aside, I do thank you guys for watching this video. See you guys on stream. I thank you guys for supporting me for all these years, despite me basically just going MIA every couple months. And with all that being said, I will see you all in the next stream, in the next video, whichever happens first. Till then, later, dudes.